You guys, one thing I noticed walking around the halls today, you seem like a group of people that love what you do. Is that right? Yes. Absolutely. Well, when I was prepping for today's talk, I noticed that I had 20 minutes. And so, before we get started today, I would like to make you a promise. And the promise is that I'm not going to stand up here today and share abstract stories and statistics. What I want to do is share recent research about gratitude, about employee recognition, how it can transform your life and your business. I want to share 2 gratitude meditations that you can take home, that you can take to the workplace. And most importantly, I want to couch everything we do today in tangible techniques that you can use to articulate your appreciation more effectively. Simple systems that you can set up to build a culture of gratitude in any business. How does that sound? Let's do this. So you guys, to tell you a quick backstory, 2 minutes about where these ideas come from. I have to tell you about Tribute, the company that we started 3 years ago. Inspired by a really great gift by this lovely lady right here. This is my wife, Mickey. She decided to reach out to these 25 people, my best friends, ask each of them to provide a 1-minute video telling me why they love me. She compiled all those videos, put them into one montage, and when I got home that night, she surprised me with it. It goes without saying, within 1 minute, I was in the back of the room bawling my eyes out because it was the best gift I had ever received. When it was all done, I walked over to her, I looked her straight in the eyes, and I said, "This is the best gift I've ever received." She looks back at me, I said, "How did you do it?" And she says, "It sucked." 15 hours of emailing people, collecting videos, editing everything together. And it was then and there that we resolved to build Tribute. It should not be this difficult to build the most meaningful gift on earth. And so now we've helped hundreds of thousands of people to share their gratitude in these group video montages you can give as a gift on any occasion. You might have seen us all over the web, very cool media outlets. This is Regis and Kathy Lee checking us out. But most importantly, we are on a mission to spread gratitude and human connection in the world. And that's where we're going to start. What is gratitude? What is human connection? Gratitude is just the state of being thankful. You can be grateful for a person, a place, a thing. You can be grateful for the past, the present, and also the future. That's future gratitude that's often neglected, but just as beautiful. And we know that gratitude is a nice thing, but do we know how deeply it impacts our brains and our bodies? When we practice gratitude, it improves our self-esteem, decreases our risk of depression. What about our bodies? When we practice gratitude consistently, we are decreasing stress hormones like cortisol by up to 23%. It literally increases our white blood cell count to fight disease. It actually lowers our blood pressure. So practicing gratitude impacts our brains and our bodies. What does gratitude have to do with human connection? Well, let's start with a beautiful quote from Brene Brown about what she defines connection as. "I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive sustenance from the relationship." You guys see that part where it says heard, seen, valued? Appreciation is essential for relationships, for deep connection. And I want to give you guys a simple construct that you can use to evaluate the depth of your meaningful relationships. For a second, I want you to think about relationships as flowers. When you get flowers and you bring them home, if you want to cultivate those flowers, you have to put them in a vase. So think about the vase for meaningful relationships. V, vulnerability. Can I be myself? A, appreciation, what we're focusing on today. Do I feel seen, valued, and heard? S, do I feel supported? Can I support this person? And E, do I derive energy from this relationship? So that is how we can evaluate relationships. That's how gratitude parlays into human connection. So what I want to do is I want to start this day with a 60-second gratitude meditation that you can take home, you can take to the office, but most importantly, I want to fill this entire conference hall with gratitude. So if you will, sit up straight. What I'd like you to do is feel your butt melting into your chair. Let your eyes gently close for a second. And then I want you to feel the temperature of the air on your skin. And now take a deep breath in. 3, 2, 1. And out. 3, 2, 1. And as you sit there, I want you to think about 3 things that you are grateful for in this moment. What are 3 things that you are grateful for? And next, I want you to think about 3 things you're looking forward to. 3 things you're looking forward to. And once you have those things, I want you to come back into the room with me. And one thing that's important is when we have gratitude in our minds, it's important to give it a voice. So quickly, shout them out. What are you grateful for in this moment? Family, breath. Who's grateful to be here? Who's grateful to be alive? There we go. So UC Berkeley did research about consistent gratitude practice over 30 days. They showed up to a 25% increase in subjective happiness. If we want to be happy, we should practice gratitude. It's the easiest way to do it. So at this point in the talk, you might be asking yourself, what does this have to do with my business? What does this have to do with my clients? And to tell you, I need to introduce you to Libby. So this is Libby at her retirement party. Libby had spent 35 years at a company called Steelcase. They do a lot of the furniture that you might see in your office. One of her coworkers got in touch and said, we want to celebrate Libby with a tribute. We said, rock and roll, let's do this. So we collected videos from her supervisors, her employees, her colleagues. And this is her watching that 35-minute video with tears still streaming down her face. The next day, Libby sent us an email. She said, I loved every minute of this video. Thank you. But I'll never forget the last sentence of that email. All it said was, I didn't know they cared this much. I didn't know they cared this much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will spend 35% of our lives at work with our coworkers. Anytime a woman like Libby doesn't know how appreciated she is, it is a tragedy and we have failed as leaders. When we saw this email, it literally dedicated us to magnifying our efforts to spread gratitude in businesses. We doubled down. We started working with more companies. But as we had to work with more companies, as we started to present at conferences like this, we need to move beyond the anecdotes of Libby. So we started to look at the research. Check out a few statistics. Did you know that the number 1 reason people leave their jobs? Because they don't feel appreciated. It's a Gallup poll. The number 1 influence on your employees is their peers, not compensation, not benefits. We need to establish deep relationships. That is how people go the extra mile. Companies that have a strategic recognition program show 71% improvement in engagement over companies that don't have it. I want to frame recognition within Maslow's hierarchy because we all know that. What are employees' needs? You've got survival and you've got safety. Recognition fulfills these next 2. Belonging and esteem. Recognition fulfills belonging and esteem. And what happens when our employees have those 2 things is that now they can actualize. Now we can unleash that creativity, that inspiration that allows people to go to the next level, to do incredible things. So that is why recognition is important. It decreases turnover and it's going to lead to discretionary effort. People going the extra mile. And we need to be intentional as leaders about how we do this because we're in a cycle of ingratitude. Recent research shows that employees basically say that they don't practice gratitude at all during the year. 60% of people, or once a year. 35% of employees said that they were afraid that expressing gratitude could make them vulnerable to be taken advantage of. And managers articulated they felt that gratitude shown to them was oftentimes inauthentic, leading them not to give it back. Which means that it's systemic and oftentimes at the top. So we need to be intentional about it. And so you may be sitting there. You may be thinking to yourself, why don't we do this? Maybe we don't think we have time to set up these programs. They may be complex. We don't have budgets to invest in new compensation or rewards. Or this might not be how our employees work. They're not emotional. They go home, they do their job, and that's it. Well, I have good news for you. And that's as we get into these techniques and these systems, they are time efficient. Most of them will take you less than an hour to do. They are cost effective. Most of them are free. And they have been tested on all sorts of audiences, not just those who are emotionally available like those in this room. So, let's do this. Communication techniques for you. The first one that I want to focus on is not, I love you. Robert Cialdini wrote a great book called Influence, a seminal book on effective communication. In that book, he says, it is not your statement of affection that impacts the recipient. It is your explanation of it. Worth repeating. It is not your statement of affection that impacts the recipient. It is your explanation of it. So it is not, I love you. It is not, thank you. It is, I love you because. So when I left my house to come to Omaha, I didn't just look at my wife and say, Mickey, I love you. I said, Mickey, I love you because you make me laugh harder than anyone and you always have my back. You see that transformation? Simon Sinek says, start with why. When it comes to appreciation, end with why. Why are you grateful for this person? What happens is it shows the recipient that you mean what you say. It adds a level of authenticity to any compliment we will ever give an employee. It is simple, but it will transform the way you express gratitude. Next is something called the power of prompt. We have given thousands of videos at Tribute. None of those amazing videos were started by asking people to submit a video for Sally, submit a video for Jenny's retirement. Every single video is based around prompt questions. We ask people, why do you love Sally? Why is Tony going to make a great father? What's your favorite memory with Andrew? Because when you provide prompts, you become a conversation catalyst. When you put a prompt in front of a group, you do two very important things. The first is positive peer pressure. You show a group that this type of emotional communication is celebrated, is normalized. You make it more comfortable for people to say something they might be scared to do otherwise. And second, when you ask a question, the person doesn't have to think so much about what they need to say because they already have an answer. If I ask you what the favorite thing about your romantic partner is, you probably have something in your head. You already have an answer to that thing, which you can now express. And we all have these moments as leaders that already exist in our life. You take someone out for a birthday lunch. A coworker has a baby shower at the office. Someone is retiring. Any one of these moments are opportunities to unify the conversation, to take it deeper, to catalyze recognition for your employees. I love you because the power of the prompt. So next I want to talk about tools of gratitude. How do we build a culture of gratitude when you're not there? How do you empower your companies to do these types of things when you're not around? The first thing that we need to acknowledge is this very important statistic. 87% of recognition programs are based on tenure, purely for sticking around. And research shows that these tenure-based programs show almost no impact on engagement. The model is not working. We do not focus on tenure-based rewards. You can have them. They are nice to have. But performance-based rewards and recognition is what creates thriving organizations. So to start, we want to talk about peer-to-peer systems. And I could not be happier to see that when I walked into the hotel, Sarah and the whole Welcoa team had created their gratitude tree. Did you guys see that yet? So what that is an anchor. That team has already normalized and celebrated that type of communication for this entire conference. We share our appreciation actively. You can do that physically in an office by creating a board, post-it notes, share your recognition. By a raise of hands, how many of you in here use Slack or Yammer or Google Groups for internal communication? So any sort of intranet, internal messaging network you might have at your office, I want to give you a challenge. This week you're going to build a simple channel for that group. And it's going to be called gratitude. It's going to be called props. And what you do is you create a dedicated channel and you're going to send a message out to your employees and you tell them, we're creating this channel so you have a place to share your appreciation of your coworkers. Anytime someone does something great, someone helps you out or impacts your work, this is where we share it. As a company, we want to celebrate and lift up people who are doing great work. That will take you about 10 minutes. And again, is an anchor that normalizes that meaningful communication. Many of us have those performance or tenure-based rewards, Employee of the Month, Employee of the Year. As a leader, rather than just giving away that award, open up a meaningful dialogue. So if Tony just won Employee of the Year, send an email out. Tony's our Employee of the Year. If you have a moment today, send him a message telling him why you love working with him. Normalize that conversation. Make it easier. The second, this is what we've seen a lot of people do, is a gifting allowance. Put a simple program in place and says anytime someone does something great, we have a $25 allowance you can use to take someone out to lunch, to buy them a gift. All you have to do is send us a note telling that person what they did, how it helped you. That note will then be sent to the other person. So by doing this, again, you're making it easier for your employees to recognize one another. And it's important that we focus on peer-to-peer recognition, not top-down recognition. Because again, peers are what influence one another. That's how we get that discretionary effort. We need to get peer-to-peer recognition. Next is we need to embrace recognition leadership. A few quick stats on this. So, UC Berkeley did some recent research, and employees articulated that 93% of them thought that bosses would be more successful if they expressed gratitude. 83% thought that their boss would be more, or that it was a sign of strength if their boss expresses gratitude. And I love this little tidbit from Adam Grant, Francesca Gino. They talk about the spillover effect, that when a supervisor gives a compliment to an employee, that employee is more likely to share that compliment elsewhere. And at Tribute, we call this the gratitude loop. And research backs this up, that when you give a compliment to someone, when I look at Sarah when I walk in and say, this is an amazing conference, great job, she is statistically more likely to go to someone else and spread their appreciation. Fact. So it needs to start at the top. When we are onboarding supervisors and our bosses, we need to have a module, something in that onboarding process that tells them recognition is a part of our leadership style, is a part of our culture. It could be as simple as including these slides to say, here's a few things that we can do. And the last one, in case you want to do research, in case you actually want to look into one of these recognition programs, here's a few of our favorite companies that do scale. These are companies that work from 5 to 5,000 employees. Recognize, I appreciate, kudos, tap my back. Just a few. This is a starting point for you to get there. And as I promised you guys, we had 2 gratitude meditations today. And so, what I'd like you guys to do, this is going to be a really good one, to sit back in your chair. And now again, just feel your butt firmly planted in your chair. Feel your back resting against your seat. Feel your eyelids gently float to a close. Feel the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel your feet plant into the ground. And with me now, deep breath in. 3, 2, 1. And out. 3, 2, 1. And in. 3, 2, 1, and out. 3, 2, 1. And now I'd like you to visualize one of your best friends standing right to your right, facing you. Someone who makes you laugh. And imagine that person sending you love. Feel it. Receive it. And I want you to imagine a family member, a sibling, father, mother, standing on your left. And I want you to imagine that person also sending you love. And I want you to receive it. And in your front, I want you to think about a mentor. Someone who's always had your back. Someone that's been there for you. I want you to imagine them sending you love. And now behind you, I want you to think about a coworker, a colleague, someone that's been there for you, someone that you are grateful for. With all 4 of those people standing around you, I want you to feel the love from all those people, coming from all angles. I want you to take one deep breath in. 3, 2, 1. And now, I'd like you to send love right back to each of those people. I want you to remember, I love you because. I want you to articulate why you're grateful for that friend. Why you're grateful for that coworker. Why you appreciate that boss or that family member. and to send them love. And when you're ready, what I'd like you to do is to open your eyes and drift back into the room. Really slowly. You guys see this statement up on the screen? You remember that one? You're a little kid, see someone on the playground, you made fun of a brother or a sister. Adult would come up to you. You don't have anything nice to say. Don't say it at all. Well, after thousands of videos created a tribute, we realize that this statement becomes a heck of a lot more powerful when you remove two don'ts. If you have anything nice to say it all. If you have anything nice to say it all. So while this session may be coming to a close, your work today is not done, because I have a challenge for you. I would like each of you to take 5 minutes today to send a text, to send an email, one paragraph, telling each of those people that you just meditated with why you're grateful for them. And in everything you do, within your community, within your families, and within your places of work, always remember, if you have anything nice to say it all. Thank you very much, guys.